Hey guys, what's up? It's Zhavia, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
New single just dropped, and honestly, like it's been on replay for me. Like I was listening to it on the way here. I
Thank
was listening to
you.
it yesterday. It's a little heavier than your previous stuff, right?
Yeah, I would say the beat is definitely more trap,
Yeah.
um, but it's just like more of an aggressive song. 100 Ways for me is about how I've realized in my life that no matter what obstacle comes at me, that I will always find a way around it
Yeah.
to get where I want to be. So,
Yeah. It's kind of a cool like empowerment kind of song, especially for your audience. Today I feel like not a lot of artists have those empowering songs, so it's great that you're able to do something like that.
thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
as far as producer wise, was this Oak? Was this Malay? Was this S1? Who was the one that did this track with
It
you?
was Oak.
Nice.
Yeah. I wrote it a couple of months back, and Paul Famous, Shun, those are two amazing writers that I wrote this with.
Right.
So shout out to them.
So what was it like for you working with Oak? What was that first like initial experience with him?
Well, actually, the first time I worked with him was in Bali,
Okay.
at a songwriting camp,
Nice.
and that was the first time like I met him, and it was just really cool because he was able to produce stuff that I had wanted from other producers, but they just couldn't pull it off.
Right.
So it was really cool to see him do that so naturally. And with 100 Ways, we wanted something like you said, a little more darker, a little more heavy. And it was really awesome because when he was vocal producing me, it was just such a fast like process, and he was giving me all the harmonies. And I'm just like, whoa! So it was awesome.
Now, when you were creating this track, did you have it in mind? Did you have like a release day, not day in particular, but like a timeline of when you wanted to release it compared to the other two singles?
Um, I mean, just as soon as like it was possible, you know what I mean. There's a lot of things that you have to get together before you put out, a
Right.
single. So just in consideration to that time,
Right.
just as soon as I could.
Now, you've been doing a lot since the show kind of happened for you, and prior to the show, you were actually writing on your own as well.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel like you've kind of evolved, like songwriting in particular?
I definitely, over the course of like the last year, and the year before, I definitely have, found my sound and who I am as an artist. Before, you know, I, even though like I sing R&B, it was kind of, it was hard for me to create the music that I liked because I didn't have the resources that I needed
Okay.
or the producers that I wanted,
Right.
so.
You think it was just hard to do it on your own?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have like someone to make vibey, chill, like hip hop
Right.
beats, it's kind of hard. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to write a song to another type of beat where it doesn't belong.
So what was that initial writing process for you then? When you didn't have these kind of producers or these kind of like opportunities, like what kind of music were you writing?
I mean, for me, it would. I mean, I was also working with like other writers too, and I felt like it was a little more pop than I am naturally.
Right. So is it safe to say that 100 Ways is like the direction that like you really want to go towards?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like the last two songs before that have definitely showed who I am as an artist and what my lyrics consist of and what my style considering like the production
Right.
and my flow on the beat. You know what I mean? I feel like I've kind of like there's a pattern there if you
Yeah.
notice.
How do you perfect your flow? How do you do that?
I mean, I kind of just freestyle. Like usually when I'm writing, I'll just like once we figure out okay what the beat's gonna be or the instrumental,
Right.
then I'll just go in the studio and I'll just freestyle melodies without words like over the beat, and then if I like them, then I'll write to them. Just if I hear words or I'll have a direction that I want to go in, and I'll just try to see what fits.
Now you got the opportunity to work with so far that I know of our three different producers, which is S1, Malay, and Oak. So how different are each of those sessions when you go in to work with them?
I mean, I've worked with, a lot more than three in the past few months because I've been like writing every day.
Nonstop.
Yeah. So I've been in the studio like nonstop, and I mean, I feel like everybody's a different person. You know what I mean? So everybody has their own their own process to everything.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like most of the time it's like I'm kind of leading it because it's just like I'll be writing to it and I'll tell them, okay, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that. So
Right.
it's like back and forth, you know, you just collaborate.
Do they individually do something that, you know, take you out of your norm? And if so, like, what is it? Like, how do they kind of have you challenge you or try something new?
I mean, I feel like within like the process of like doing so many sessions, I definitely have gotten like more comfortable with like going in and freestyling melodies because before that's not something I would do normally. Normally I would have the melodies in my head and then I'd write to them and then I'd go in and record them.
Right.
But now I'm just like, okay, let me try some melodies because melodies is like something that I just love doing and I can come up with like them all day.
Now, I was, you know, watching some of your live performances online. Like, I see that there is choreography with some of your stuff. So, do you think of the choreography when you're writing music, or is that something that just comes naturally afterwards?
So when I'm writing the music, I don't really think about like the choreography. I mean, I kind of do think of like, okay, how is this going to be portrayed on stage? Because sometimes there's songs that are a little harder to, you know, perform
Right.
or to play live, and it's like, okay, you got to keep them interested. You know what I mean? So I don't really think about the choreography, but I just think how they're going to be portrayed on stage.
Right.
But I've been working with Lorianne Gibson, which is
Okay.
I worked with her on the 4 actually,
Okay.
and she choreographed all the dancers on there, and she's amazing, and she's working on the whole EP and the whole
Nice.
tour, so it's been a blessing to have her.
So you have your package already like ready to go. Like, you know who you're gonna work with and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, of course there will be more in the future,
Right, of
but
course.
for now, like, you know, we got a good start.
right. As far as the choreography goes, is that something that comes natural to you, or did it take you a while to kind of learn these kind of dance moves, or be able to move the way that you do on stage? Because it's hard enough to sing, but then when you have
Yeah.
to sing and then follow those steps, like,
I mean, I think like the cool thing is the way that Lorianne's process works is by watching what I do naturally,
okay,
and then she makes it in a way to where it's like dancing, but it's natural.
right,
You know what I mean? So it's easy.
okay.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
no struggle
I
whatsoever.
couldn't. I mean, if somebody was teaching me like someone else's moves, it would be so hard to do. But because like it's stuff I do naturally, it's
Yeah.
easy. You know.
Got it. That's smart though. That's good. That's good. No, you kind of teased a little bit about an EP. Like, I know you've been working on stuff like all year
Yeah.
long. So what can fans expect with this EP? Like, what is the direction? Is it more 100 Ways? Is it still a little bit of everything?
So the EP is coming out at the top of the year, which I'm really excited about, and it's just kind of like a recap of like the past 2 years of my life, and you know, some love songs, some songs about, you know, me making it, but it's still a lot of hard work. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely R&B, urban hip hop.
Okay.
You know, that's what I would say my music is.
What kind of songs do you feel like are harder for you to write? When you get personal, when you get like super happy, like which ones are harder for you?
You know what? It used to be really hard for me to write like happy songs, but now it's like easy because I'm happy.
You had to portray someone you weren't before. Is that what it was?
Maybe. I'm just kidding. No, I'm always a happy person, but I just feel like it's harder to write because sometimes it can come off as corny if you're not like fully in it.
Right.
But if you're fully in it, then you're in it to win it.
Right.
So.
Just giving them quotes. What has been like one of the biggest things that you've noticed that you've kind of like grown in, whether it's writing, whether it's performance, whether it's the way that you talk to your fans?
I feel like I've grown a lot in everything.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like every day is a day where I'm learning more, where I'm like bettering my craft because I'm singing every day.
Right.
You know, I'm singing every second.
Are you challenging yourself though with like the way that you sing, like trying new things as far as like vocalization, especially like when you're doing 3 different types of songs, like the releases that you did?
I feel like maybe that's something I should do, like talking about like my health for my voice, probably I should focus on that because I have a lot of dairy and it's not good for your vocal cords.
It's time to change the diet.
Yeah, it's maybe change the diet a little bit. I could probably be stricter with that.
Yeah.
So.
And with 100 Ways, like I love, there's so many sounds in this track that like what kind of inspired all of these sounds?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of like just like a feeling. You know what I mean? When I write, like, I'm just singing my feelings.
Yeah.
So, whatever comes out is like, you can kind of like attach that feeling to the lyrics. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, we came up with some melodies. But with this process, I mean, since I was working with two other writers, it was kind of like going back and forth with ideas and melodies. Like, oh, do you like this? Oh, does this sound good? I don't know if I like that lyric. Let me think of something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just.
I like that moonwalk lyric though.
Thanks.
That was brilliant.
Thanks.
Like I never thought about it. I was like, people are always doing this, but it's like they're also trying to be positive. Like, don't take steps back, and then you're moonwalking.
Yeah. I mean, I also have another lyric about taking steps back in another way for Deep Down.
Did I not catch it?
One step back gives me 3 steps closer.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I think the moonwalk kind of like hit me the most.
The moonwalk.
So what's next for you? The year's about to end. 2019 is gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a crazy year for you. But what can fans expect for 2019? Is there gonna be plans for a tour with this material?
Yeah. So I'm actually announcing the tour dates next week. And like I said, that's at the top of the year. I can't talk too much about it yet because it'll be released soon.
Right.
But after tour, I'm probably just gonna start working on the next project right away.
Non-stop.
Yep.
But as far as the tour goes, like, is this your first official like tour?
Yeah, this is my first tour ever, and it's all me too, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
What can fans expect on a tour of yours? Now that it's not going to be like a festival, it's not going to be like an event that you're doing at a school. Like, this is the actual tour. So what can we expect for a tour like that?
Well, you guys can expect a great time. I'm going to try to give you my best performance every night because I know that, going to artist shows, you want to see them at their best. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm going to work really hard.
Nice. Now, for those fans that are not too familiar with you, why did you start creating music in the first place?
I mean, for me, I grew up in a household full of music, so it was just something that felt natural and that I grew up into. And, ever since I could remember, I wanted to be a singer. So this is something that, I've had planned for my whole life. So it's really awesome that I get to do it.
You're living the dream.
Yeah.